this. So the exciting part. Tonight, we have the pleasure of welcoming Melanie Hatto, a highly experienced product life cycle advisor with a deep background in product development, prototyping, and manufacturing. What I'm about to share just scratches the surface of Melanie's experience, which includes, but not limited to, helping companies of all sizes and individuals design products from scratch, creating prototypes, and getting products manufactured or in front of companies for sale. Melanie's expertise spans across various industries, including medical braces, clothing, and marine products. She currently owns 3 companies: Med Brace Designs, which focuses on helping products come to market or be licensed; Align Mine, a product currently sold directly to doctors and soon expanding to Shopify and Amazon; and a boat business in Texas. When does she sleep? We'll find out tonight. In addition to her product development work, Melanie is skilled in custom material laminations, creating sell sheets and pitch decks, writing patents, and conducting brainstorming sessions with product development teams. These sessions help to identify gaps in product offerings, explore target market expansion, and fine-tune product details. Melanie's professional journey also includes selling her former company to Braceability in 2017, where she then served as the head of product development for nearly 4 years. Her extensive experience in both entrepreneurial and advisory roles makes her an invaluable resource for anyone looking to bring product to market or refine an existing one. Okay, so with that, scraping the surface there, I'm so excited again to welcome Melanie, and so looking forward to learning about your incredible, extensive experience tonight. So again, thank you so much for being here. As we jump into this, yes, a nice clap here. So as we jump into this, I have about 7 pages of questions for you. But first, can we do just a quick kind of, and this is going to be tricky, I'm sure, but a quick kind of timeline of your background just to get everybody caught up to speed. So basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, your educational background is in physical therapy. And is that how you ended up moving into product development, plus your familiar history?
Yes. So yes, my background is health, and I come from a long line of engineers.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of meshed at one point. So
okay. And
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about kind of some of the milestones. So you start your physical therapist, and then at what point do you come up with a new product? And was that one something you licensed or you sold or you brought to market yourself? And kind of walk us through the snowball effect of your intense career.
Okay. Well, I worked with patients for 16 years. But then due to my own injury, I could not work with patients anymore. After I severed the nerve going down my arm, the brachial plexus. So I was in a cervical collar for a year. I was in a sling for 2 years, but about 3 months in, the traditional slings bothered my other shoulder, bothered me, quite a bit. And realizing that this was going to be a long haul, I made something very simple and ended up patenting that. But I would go into, and again, I knew many doctors around this area, and then I became their patient. So I used to work on their patients and then became their patient.
Right.
And so I'd walk into their offices and they'd say, "Oh, you should make those. That's great. Wow." In all different fields of medicine. So so it just kind of snowballed from there. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll manufacture it. I'll make it, get it out there.
Yep.
So I had an orthopedic surgeon who became a partner of mine about I don't know, maybe a year or two into into owning the business and starting it. And I'd already had like 3 products on the market at that point. And but I would sit with these doctors and they're like, hey, I've got a product that I want made. Can
Wow.
you make can you get that made for me? Can you make that for me? So I'd sit down and write down what their criteria was. Like just what the have to's are. And
Mm-hmm.
then, and the whys. The whys are, why do you want this? Why is it different? What don't you like about what's on the market?
Yep.
So then, the ideas come. I make prototypes, and it's nice when somebody's local because I can go back and forth and just, you know, make them, make mistakes, go back, tweaks, the back and forth process. But yeah, so I had quite a few doctors that I was designing for, and then or finding suitable products for. So it just kind of like it started a big relationship there. Um, Orthopedic surgeon became my business partner. I being a partner with a doctor, and I say um, that it's probably not a good idea because I never had the time. But I now have a new doctor business partner
No.
on a new product that for Align Mine. So yeah, but that's okay. I think he'll be a silent partner for
Tread
the most part.
lightly.
I'm just not going to depend on his time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just his name basically, and
Yeah.
it
Bit of
helps.
a silent partner.
Silent partner, and yeah, to be able to endorse it for ads is
Yeah.
the hope. So
Yep.
yeah, so that just kind of, so I had these at that time. I probably had, when I first started pitching these products, I had them manufactured. I got them manufactured with one manufacturer at
Okay.
that point, one factory, and I had boxes, I mean, a wall of tons of products. I had probably 6,000 products
Oh, wow.
in house. So that and I was getting them on Amazon, or had them on Amazon at that time. But I was like, okay, I really wanted to I didn't want to do the business side of it. I just wanted to do the designing. So uh, a business partner who not legal partner, but I call him a partner because he was a big part of the business side of things, and I learned a lot from him. He ended up saying, just get these products in front of sellers.
Mm-hmm.
So I packaged them up, these 5 products, sent them out to DMEs, and said, you can put your label on them, do whatever you want with them, but will you sell them?
Okay.
Because I didn't need my label. I didn't care about that. And so I started getting that happening. Got that in front of some big companies, got FDA approvals, got all those kind of things. And in that moment is when I was offered to buy my company, and for me to then be head of product development at Braceability. So it was, I had to pull them back from companies I already had them in because they want
Oh, no.
exclusivity at that point.
Oh, no.
And yeah, so it was a teeter tottering little bit of a mess, but everybody was really good about it. They were like, "Yep, just go do that." And
Good problem to have, though.
it is. Yeah, luckily I did have my MBA guy with, to be able to help me through that scenario.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so then I worked for them, and then they ended up letting go of all the product development. They just dissolved that,
Mm-hmm.
and they went in a new direction. But 6 months after they let us go, then they hired me back as a consultant to
Oh,
then
wow.
create more products for them. So yeah, and they're still kind of doing a lot of changes and stuff. But so I consult for them now, and for other companies and individuals, and help people get products to market. But that's how it started.
And something with boats. Um,
We'll get there later.
okay.
Yeah.
So again, you guys, we're all in very different phases of our journeys. We're all kind of many of us are looking to license, many of us are looking to bring products to market on our own. I'm going to just start going through some of the questions I have, but As always, if at any point you guys have questions that are more specific to your needs, please don't hesitate, jump in the conversation. And a lot to cover. Again, really extensive experience here with Melanie, so don't hold back. And Melanie, one of the questions I want to talk about, like prototyping and what people can expect when they're prototyping, having like the initial prototype made. When you work with other designers, when you work with companies, when it's time to do that prototyping, is it absolutely necessary to have the CAD drawing at this point, or are there scenarios where you can still submit just a loose sketch or a handmade prototype that's maybe not in the best shape, but just to get an idea on the cost? Or again, does it have to be the CAD drawing?
It does not have to be the CAD drawing whatsoever. There's I've never been told that I had to have that. I actually
Wow.
I'm very slow at CAD. I can do
Okay.
it. I'm very slow. So I hire that out if I need to.
Yeah.
I write paper patterns, and I have books of paper patterns. Um, and then from there, and they're pretty precise, but I actually, right above me, I have one of my grandfather's big, he was a engineer, and I have his sketch up here of one of his products that, so yeah, the sketching is just fine. Physical prototypes, yes. So your question was, do you have to have CADs? You do not. Do you have to have
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
necessarily?
Yeah.
It depends.
Okay.
Um, it could be, if it's a concept and it's very simple, you can just talk right to the company and say,
Okay.
can this is what I'm looking for. Of course, you're going to look for a company that has the similar capabilities of what in those same lines.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to go,
Yeah.
totally outside of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, find that, and you can put it together, pictures, and say, I want this part of this product and this part of this product, but can you make it green?
Okay.
And so yeah, I mean, it's all about the communication, and just pushing a little bit, but also say, I understand this is gonna, the samples are gonna cost something. How much will the samples cost
Mm-hmm.
for, you know, um, and I don't know. It's pretty simple to get samples made, um, from manufacturers. Now, when people come to me, and they don't, they'll usually come to me and say, we want this, or
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't see like a boat product that there's two boat products in my life. There's a boat business and the boat marine product that I've made,
Got it.
just recently worked on. And he just said, hey, this needs this. There's not one in the market, and I need one for my boat. Can you
Mm-hmm.
make one?
Mm-hmm.
Just do, and it's research. It's like, okay, well, give me the measurements of yours, and then what are the measurements of all the other ones,
Yep.
out there. Um, and I make one, I take it over there, and hi, Michelle. And I try it on. We put it on his boat, works good. I send it off, send pictures off and measurements off to manufacturers and say, I want this material here. This is non-stretch. This is stretch. This has a cord. This does not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just the facts. What are the
Okay.
facts that you need?
Okay. Wesley, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, Melanie, you mentioned, you said, I hire that out in reference to some activity. How do you go about finding your help?
Past coworker is who I use for my technical drawings, and an engineering friend is who I use for the CAD drawings. Um, LinkedIn's a great resource for that. I get messages all the time from CAD drawings, or like CAD engineers,
Mm-hmm.
or designers, and they're just like, hey, if you ever have any business, that you can send my way, I'd greatly appreciate it. Here's my work. you know, you
Yeah.
want to definitely look and make sure. And then when when you get into a CAD drawing, you should see, did they just take this from the internet, or is their name printed, on the bottom of that? I mean, if there should be a printing, or initials or a header of either their company name or their name. And so just make sure it's them doing these, and ask timelines, ask, like, okay, so can, make sure that you own the drawings, make sure that you have all rights to them. I've heard some
Wow.
strange things about that, but
Yeah.
yeah, so mm.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you. Thank you, Wesley. Um,
I don't know if that answered you, but
I think it sounds good. Can you get a thumbs up? I think so. Um, okay. When you are looking for manufacturers to do the prototyping, are you working primarily in the US? Are you working abroad? Are there certain countries that you're more familiar with working with the manufacturing companies? What's your
well,
experience in that sense?
so okay, so I make the physical prototypes,
Okay.
from, I've got a few examples, and I'll just show you like a
Oh,
start.
please.
This is the one I often use because it's I start out very archaic, and the other day I literally had poles on my body,
Okay.
like metal, and I had wires holding them together, just to see a concept. So
Yeah.
they can be very archaic, but like this one is just, it's made from, um,
Um,
that's a thing for wire racks. These are for electrical, and then it came out to being, but the angle's correct. Like there's certain things, right? There's padding. There, it's a thermoplastic, or yeah, I guess so. And then it's created into more thermoplastics, and
oh,
encased,
wow.
and then final design is manufactured
Wow.
products. So, um, I do all the prototyping, and I get them as near to finish, as possible, because
Okay.
then it just eliminates all the back and forth samples that take forever and cost
Yeah.
money.
Yep.
So that's what people come to me for, are the prototypes,
I
and then I
see. I see.
determine, again, like materials in every industry, it doesn't matter. Materials are the key. If it's a plastic, the bags for plastic food, that material, all of it matters, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The ease of use, everything matters. So that, it's yeah, it's, forgot your question now, but
I was asking about using overseas versus
oh,
American
okay,
manufacturers for the prototype, but
right,
that our answer is we're going to be prototyping right in the US here. So when
yes.
somebody does come to you for a prototype, about how long would it take from the request to the delivery?
It really, really depends. I usually can get the prototypes done by the time I do a contract with people. So
Mm-hmm.
we're both into it, and it takes anywhere from, I may present in a week, I may present in 2 weeks. So usually what I say is, you'll see the first iterations, and I usually do 3 iterations of their request.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's 3 different thoughts.
Okay.
It's not just one, unless it just continually goes back there, unless they really know what they want and they kind of lay it out on the line,
Yeah.
then I go that direction. But
Yeah.
if it's, an kind of open-ended, this is what's needed, this is why, I go from there, bring
Mm-hmm.
3, and so usually within a week to 3 weeks, I'll have that in front of them. Then we kind of streamline, say, okay, we're going to go this direction.
Mm-hmm.
So then I work from there, and details, just making it better, more research, all of it,
Oh, wow.
sizing patterns.
Okay. And when it's time to do the manufacturing, if somebody's looking to bring the product to market themselves versus license, and you have to find that perfect fit, can we hear a little bit more about that process? So we'll start out again. Are you working within the United States? Do you go abroad? If so, what are those countries you're familiar with? And what does that process look like in terms of like time frame, for example? How long should somebody assume it would take from putting that manufacturing order in to receiving the first pallet of goods?
Okay. Um,
And
so
then we'll
that
get to Wesley and Edgar.
okay. I mean, I would love to say that's an easy answer,
Yeah.
but it is not. Um, One, do you have an established um, relationship with the factory? You're going to get it a lot faster.
Okay.
They know that you're serious. They know that you're already producing. They know that you've spent money with them.
Okay.
They're going to, put you first and foremost. Is it a product that they can easily do, or is it a product that, like, I have a product right now for a company that has taken so ridiculously long, and we have had rejections across, probably 10 rejections. I've been in front of these engineers. I've like, we have held the products together and said, can you do this? And
Yeah.
they said yes.
What is getting lost in translation? Why do you think they're having such a struggle with this?
Sometimes it's the machines,
Oh,
sometimes it's the
okay.
availability of the machines.
Okay.
um, it's the engineers, and their willingness.
Okay.
Where in the, even though they're a OEM or ODM manufacturer.
Which means what for
Okay,
us
so
novice folk?
original equipment manufacturer and original design manufacturer.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And so that's like full customization. They're saying they can take your product and make it and go from start to finish, and they can handle it all.
Yeah.
Again, you want to have it as close to, you want to know the details as
Mhm.
close to possible. Is that and that definitely helps. If you do have physical prototypes, it definitely goes faster.
Mhm.
Saying them, always, when you, and this is overseas, I'm talking overseas. I work with in Taiwan,
Oh, okay.
in China, and Korea. Right now,
Oh,
I've got a
wow.
new one in Korea. So the the scope of when and how, one, always get a pay extra for the tracking number. If you're going to ship a product overseas, always get tracked. And it's not easy all the time, but and you do have to pay more. But otherwise, I've had products that they just disappear. They
Oh,
never
no.
get there. 2 months later, they're just still not there. So I always
And
just,
who's footing the bill for the missing products?
I mean, they're, well, okay. My clients, usually it depends on the contract,
Okay.
but yeah, if they're already a company, then they'll ship them from with their accounts,
Okay.
and they usually know. But I've made the mistake in the past where I have lost products, and
Okay.
prototypes are not fun to lose.
I can't
You only have
imagine.
so many,
Yeah.
so
And
don't do that.
with the company that has this back and forth now 10 times or so, are they physically sending you the product to examine, or are they just showing it via Zoom or online images or something?
Okay, well, it's actually 10 different factories that have
Oh,
all said no, that all do right in the same lines. And I'm like, you have the capability in this product right here that I have in front of me.
okay.
And they're like, oh, well, yeah, but yours is complicated. Well, it's not really. I do processes. I do, okay, so I teach the engineers, if you do
Mhm.
this, and just yesterday, I sent it to the company, and I just said, okay, I still got the one more company or factory that I know is going to nail it.
Yeah.
I pray is going to nail it. I keep
Yeah.
saying that, but this company got as close as any of them. And he goes, why are the rest of them all saying they can't do this? I said, they don't want to do it.
I see. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and they'll, at first they want your business, and then they say, oh no, wait, um,
Maybe
it's
they
too
got like a bigger
complicated.
deal in the meantime.
Well, that, or they send you their currently made products. Hey, why don't you use this instead?
Oh
But yeah,
no.
mm-mm,
Oh
Yep,
wow.
yeah,
that's not
I know
what we want.
exactly what you're talking. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
geez.
yeah.
All right. Before we hop over to Wesley and Edgar, I think it would be interesting too to just share a quick tidbit, little side note. Also, Melanie, this isn't exactly new to you because of your family background. Do you want to just let people in on that interesting sort of history too,
You mean like,
with the inventions going back
oh yeah.
decades?
Yeah, my grandfather, he worked for the government, for University of Michigan, and for I don't know, we're not quite sure everywhere he worked, but it was very secretive about it. But he invented like the um when you walk up to doors, the automatic doors that just open. It's just one of those random things. But yeah, he had, and then my uncle worked for Ford and was didn't retire till he was 70. They wouldn't let him retire till 71. And then my aunt has 130 patents in the medical field, and my dad has about 150.
Okay, so this is, I don't know if there's some genetic wisdom being passed through you as well, but it's not like exactly your first rodeo. Like you really have a long history with bringing products to market and being in this environment. With that, I'm going to get my dog a treat really quick because he's acting up, and we'll hear from Wesley and then Edgar, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Wesley?
Yeah, hello. And Melanie,
Yeah.
kind of slightly sidetracked to what you've been talking about. What legal form of entity do you front to companies when you're licensing and so forth?
Again, it depends on the company. Am I licensing it? Is it my own product that I'm licensing, or approaching companies to license, or is it one of my clients? So that's a second part of what I do, is I do bring people's products. I'll pitch them for them. What is the legal entity? A contract, just saying that, with exit clauses. Hey, they can leave, we can leave, we can exit this. But usually it's just a percentage that I obtain from, if I do get a licensing deal for the person.
Okay, and if it's one of your own products, are you engaging in the license agreement with them? Are you an LLC or are you doing it personally?
No, LLC. So I have an LLC, and I have, but really, I would go S corp, like, and my other companies are S corps. Just it's kind of easier for from a product developer type of, where then you pay yourself. It just kind of works a little
Right.
easier.
Okay. And then one other thing you mentioned, in terms of when you get assistance or help from someone, you said basically to make sure that you own the development work that results from that. How do you go about locking that down?
So it should be you should have a contract with them. It should just be, maybe it may be a legal, just something signed, saying this is, you are hiring them for this product. And if they're a company, they'll have you sign something. It's like when you go to the mechanics, and the mechanic says, okay, I'm going to do this to your car. Are you okay with that? And then you have to sign it, right? But it's just usually just a simple document. And sometimes it could be more extensive, but you just want to make sure that they don't, sometimes they'll want it for their portfolio. And if you're okay with that, and just say, you can, but I need to make sure it's patented first, that I'm covered first. I don't want it shown until, and that's what I always do with my clients, until they get something on the market, or until they get it patented. I don't disclose what I've done. Like, I don't put it on my website. I don't put it in front of anybody. I may put a part of it, a piece of it, but I'm pretty careful until I get that okay from them, the agreement that yes, you can show this now. So it's disagreements.
Great, great. Thanks for those clarifying questions, Wesley. Really helpful. Edgar, and then Serena.
Okay, hi Melanie.
Hi, Edgar.
Um, I I have a lab puppy. It's she's like a year and a half old, and she has a lot of toys. And some of the toys are made of some materials that she can bite on them ferociously. And they don't tear, they don't break, they don't fracture. Those materials are incredible, you know? And so in the orthopedic sector, I suppose also materials are key, you know? Yeah.
Yes.
So how do you keep up with the new materials that are coming up in the market? Maybe some of them have new patents, but some of them are so novel, that they can create new product categories. So how do you keep up with those new materials so that your products are new and they're not outdated very soon?
That's a great question. First of all, so when it comes to like the hard materials, I will start with does it need to be moldable, right? Does it need to form? Is it rigid? Is there where in it needs to be different? So from there, I really like the blends, like the silicone and poly blends, where there's some moldability, there's some shaping, there's softness. The over molding, where you could have a piece of wire inside of encased, around a soft thing of a toothbrush, right? It's like a soft plasticky, maybe some of them have like a little bit of rubber on them, so that rubber um, areas where they're encased with the soft rubber, we'll call it rubber, um, and but yet the hard forms are in the inside and can shape. So it's all about staying up with technology and just thinking outside the box. You're not comparing yourself to what's out there, not comparing yourself to or thinking about necessarily keeping up with or expanding or going to something new, but what is the problem that needs to be fixed? What is it, the product? And from there it shapes itself. Usually it's just it just forms, and depending on the companies that I work with, some of them have no budget. That's fabulous. Some of them have a very tight budget. Nope, no plastics, except if it's a straight stay or the common things that are already out there. Okay, so it comes down to a cost thing also.
Okay. Thank you, Melanie.
Thanks, Edgar. Serena.
Hi guys.
Serena.
I was going to kind of touch on what Wesley had said prior. Let me just try to get my notes real quick. Networking, real quick. I just wanted to talk about like the importance of following up. It's like something I think we get so excited. We find these people, we write them down, and then it's like lost in it's lost. And I think like Wesley, you had said a couple things. Oh, okay. Not just going out and is it okay if I say this right now, or should I just stick with what Melanie is talking about?
We're all ears, Serena. We're all ears.
Okay. Thank Thanks, guys. I'll try to be real quick. But I've seen like firsthand how just making the connection. Hi, I'm a product developer. I like to connect. A week later, maybe you mention, a group you're in, like, connect, be in the same groups. Talk about a post. And then, because one of my most significant connections in my product is the president of the Wisconsin Grocers Association. And it was just like little by little. I was thinking when Wesley had said that, I was like, if I had just come out and said like, hi, I want you to see my thing and meow, 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 meow. And I don't think he would have ever like connected with me again. So thank you, Wesley, for kind of like, putting a little emphasis on that. It really is so important for us to follow up, you guys. Like, I'm trying to do this follow-up Friday, which I know is not original, but it's like 2, 3, that's it. And then real quick, Melanie, thank you so much for for sharing your journey and everything. It's very inspiring. And it seems like you have a resiliency that successful inventors, they have resiliency. It's like they've gone through some shit and it's like they've learned like, all right, a hiccup, a challenge, whatever, I'll just get over this, little small mountain, whatever, and move on. And like, I can totally see that that's what you've gone through a lot of, obstacles and challenges, and it's your resiliency that's really kind of made you here that day, which is so cool.
Well, thank you for that. It's not easy. I mean, I've heard you all say, it's like there are the ups and downs. There are the and now that I've been contracting for a few years now, it's like and consulting contracting. It's like the flows of inundation of work and then the lulls and the and so but it sets time for my own products then to get we work on some my own ideas and stuff. So but thank you.
Thanks, Sarita, for your input. We always appreciate it. Keith.
Well, hi, thanks, Melanie. So I had a question. You said you consult with people on products and you do pitch them to companies. How do you share in the royalty that way, or do you get a flat fee for doing so, or can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's different. It's different with different clients. Sometimes it is a flat fee. It's if they get maybe above a certain amount for an initial payout, maybe I get the upcharge. So if they want a certain amount, they may I may get more. Or like a 1%. It really depends on the product. How fast do I already know people in the industry to pitch to? Do I or is this going to be a long drawn out? Am I new to this industry? The research involved, all of that. It really depends. I definitely fluctuate in my numbers, just depending. But just keep it fair to everybody, and I can't promise anything on any of them. So that's to be flexibility there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Keith. Melanie, can you talk about any red flags you've experienced when dealing with manufacturers that stand out as, if I realized what that meant kind of earlier on, we want to be in this kind of situation, or I would have saved myself some time or money. Anything that we can look out for?
Yeah, I think don't assume that they understand your thoughts ever.
Yeah.
And that it goes back to trying to get as close to possible, close to final product as possible. For pitchers, for your knowledge. What if you had it? What if you thought that this was the way to go, but you haven't really tested it? And they make them that way. You get them in hand, and they don't work.
Yeah.
So it's that process. So skipping skipping the testing in your own process, in your own product, is a red flag. Like you are probably going to get, you're probably going to lose money.
Yeah.
Also, just making sure that you get. I today I asked for 4 samples, like 4 of one product, because I want 2 in hand. I want to be able to tweak one if needed. I want their original, and I want to send back the tweaked. Well, or 3. I want, or 4, just to know that, like, the one I send back, I have one that identical that I made that I just sent them back. I have their original to reference. And you just can't assume that when they say something's soft, it may not be soft.
Yeah.
It's
soft compared to what?
Right. Yeah. So are we talking like fluffy baby blanket, or it's like, and all those things are ordering products that they're ordering some of their products, going to trade shows, feeling their products, touching them, working with them, taking video, and at trade shows you're going to talk, you're going to see tons. Scan the place, make sure that you know what factory you're talking to about this product that you have in the hand of theirs.
Yeah.
And but yeah, red flags. One, I tried to manufacture in the United States originally.
You said originally?
Originally.
Okay.
Yeah. Just with my first product.
Okay.
Luckily, I learned from that product a lot of the pitfalls of just even the first person, I think, was local. She was local. She just really, I have no idea what she was thinking.
Oh no.
And I had ones that were set, handed her and said, "Can you make more of these?" She had better machines than I did and stuff. And they came back almost opposite, and instead I should have said, "Make me 2.
Yeah.
And then I will see them."
Yeah.
Don't continue. Don't waste my time, your time, money, whatsoever. Always get their samples before they start doing any more. And a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, can I just send you video or pictures?" No, you can't.
Get it in hand.
Yep.
And when I see Serena has a hand up, but really quickly, when you are requesting the samples that you said you had 3 or 4 for this one product, is there a standard that they're, it wouldn't be out of the question if you asked for 10 samples or 5 samples even? Is that kind of normal practice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because initially, so why I only asked for 4 today from, I've got 2 different companies that have a product really close to what I think is okay. Like, I think they're good, but again, so I want 4 from each. From there, the company, we are going to change the colors and do a design coloration change and the labels and everything like that. So that's going to be another set. So right now we're just testing function. So that's why I did that. From there, we get the colors, the design from they'll have their industrial designer will be setting the look. So the look, and now we're adding the different sizes. So so from there, yeah, I want 10 of each size.
Okay. Yeah.
Or 5 of each size.
And I guess that way you also have like the reassurance that it wasn't just a one-off that they made, right? That, each one would have that continuity and be exactly as it's supposed to be.
And the quality check. I mean,
yeah.
You need to take those samples and you need to beat them up. If it's got Velcro hook and loop, you better, we do tests of, they should do like a hook and loop. If it's a compatible match and they use the compatible match, it should last like 1,000 rounds.
Oh, wow.
A lot of them, I have a company, they have a whole line of product out there. Well, I shouldn't say a line. They have a product out there that I'm making a secondary product to it. And so I have their product here. And just undoing it a few times, I did it 30 times and it couldn't hook anymore. And they have them on the market.
Oh, no.
Yep. And they're a good company, and they're a very reputable company.
Wow.
It slipped through. So
Mhm.
that quality check from the first set of samples, second set of samples, don't assume that they use the same exact materials. Don't
Wow.
assume they use the same threads. If it's like,
Yeah.
if you want marine grade thread, they're gonna, which is more expensive, right? So
Yeah.
you need to take, and I told this to my son, he got his first shipment of he's an entrepreneur too at age 18, so he got his products in. I said, did you go in each box and grab the middle one out of each box?
Mm-hmm.
I said, and not just the middle one, but you have to check the corner. Like if it comes, you check every single one of those.
Yeah.
Because one, you're not going to ship that box if it's got damage. You're going to restack it until you know that this manufacturer knows what they're doing and sending you quality products.
Yeah.
You have to be your advocate. You have to be that product. You have to watch from start to finish. You can have quality checks at the from the factory, and a lot of times if you have a good relationship with them, you'll get that quality check person there that you'll start to be able to like maybe do some drop shipping.
Okay.
But at first, I would say get them in hand first, do your own quality checks, compare them with the factories.
Yeah.
And then you can always hire somebody at the border too to do box checks and stuff like that. But
Okay.
so yeah, so it's your product, what it's supposed to be like. Don't assume they use the same materials. I've seen it so many times.
Wow. Wow.
Second 1,000 products come to your door, or and all of a sudden the reviews start going down.
Oh my
They look
gosh.
the same,
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
but this one
We've all
stretches
seen
this
that
much,
happen.
and this one
Sure.
stretches this much.
Yeah. Why'd you change the formula? The first one
Mhm.
we had was amazing. This one's
Yeah.
awful. Yeah, we've definitely all seen that, I'm sure.
So and that at that point it's like, well, are you going to send it back?
Yeah.
Do you want us to send these back? What do you want us to do with these?
Yeah.
Or are you going to make us more because you did wrong?
Yeah.
And once you establish that your boundaries and this is exactly what I have to have. This has to be a 35% stretch rate with 3 to 5% variances. I mean, you have to allow, some variances, but it can't be a 5-inch toy and then all of a sudden it's a 2-inch that
Yeah.
or a 4 and it doesn't fit inside of something else. I don't know,
Yeah, of course, of course. Okay, excellent. So we have Serena and then Edgar and Michael on standby. Serena.
Hi. Okay. So I'm kind of going through this right now because I have a company in China who is very, very enthusiastic about manufacturing my product.
Okay.
So, and we developed a very good relationship over the past, I'd say, almost a year now.
Good.
And so he's like, okay, I can have 10,000 units at $4, ready in 1 month. Okay, great. But we need to test market this. So we don't need 10,000 units. We need 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, so now it's $250 per unit.
Oh.
And so to talk about
so
if that cost to be like, nope, this isn't it. Okay. Then what? And I like how you said pay extra for tracking, but it's like, it's very nerve wracking when you are, I'm trying to license, I'm not venturing it. I'm trying to license it. So, but a lot of the people who are interested want to see a test market. They want to see, pretty close to, you know, close to
Right.
my product as possible. But I'm thinking like maybe something closer, like, you know, maybe establish a relationship with, like you said, a U.S. manufacturer who can, we can have a lot less time restraints. You know, my manufacturer is 15 hours ahead of time. So that poses a problem because we can only communicate at my time, 10 p.m. until, you know, 5 o'clock a.m., you know, so.
For small rounds, I mean, I definitely would use the US for like plastics and stuff like that. I definitely use companies in the US for small runs. Just 5, 10 plastics. And again, I mean, usually every city has 3D printers, you know, design labs now.
Mm-hmm.
I would sit with them and say, I want to take the materials that are similar from whatever product that you have, say, I want it to feel like this. I want it to move like this. I want it to rebound like this.
Mm-hmm.
They may not have those plastics capabilities, but so go to the next place. You know, and
Awesome. Thank you. This is great. This is so helpful.
Would there have you ever had an experience where the company say they did want the 250 for the samples? Would you be able to take that price off the ending, the overall cost?
Yeah, they usually will do that.
Would they do
They'll
that for you?
apply it towards, yeah.
Yeah.
But what if you're like, oh, no, I don't think I want to use
I
it.
know. All the risks, all of the many risks.
Have you had like one sample from them?
No, I basically bought a bunch of similar products from China a long time ago. You know, like figure out how to assemble the product I wanted, and then found manufacturers that were already set up basically to kind of configure what I needed. I did share it with, I do have a non-provisional patent, so I mean, not that gives me a whole lot of, you know, protection, but he really loved it. The engineer in China really liked my product, and
everybody likes your product, Serena. It's
you.
Killer. It's so good.
Thank you.
And so, do you have CADs of it? Like, do you have the CAD drawings? Okay,
I do.
So if you have the CAD drawings of it, I mean, that's a big part of maybe the upfront cost from them.
Okay.
So if you already have that, I would definitely
shop around.
I would definitely shop around. Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
I would shop local. So, you know, start local. And I would not. There's some of the big companies. I would just stay local if you can.
Cool. Thank you, Melanie.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Serena. Edgar, and then Michael.
Melanie, I don't know if I'm reading you correctly, but I sense that you're a person that can be a very tough negotiator on one hand, and on the other side of the spectrum, you can be very flexible and have a lot of empathy. So how do you navigate that widespread emotional spectrum, Melanie?
As we all are, you know, I'm passionate, right? That's what binds us together. We understand each other because we all have passion for things in our brains and innovating and helping each other. I love what I do. I absolutely love it. I love every aspect of it. And yeah, you know, I've become very businesslike and I'm trying to be more and don't know, I hope nobody takes this the wrong way, but more manly with my business side of things. My emails are very short and to the point. It's not, hey, how you doing? Hope you're well. Da, da, da. The first sentence is usually my question. If I have a relationship where, you know, we're going back and forth emails, I don't want to waste anybody's time. Usually this is all they need to, you know, So those things, it's been a learned trait. One, time restrictions. I'm somewhat of a one man band in, at least here. Yeah, I am passionate about it. I do try and get everybody's product into hands of who it should go to. I think that one, these products will affect other people's lives, which is, so let's get them out there, right? Why wait? Um, just go find the person that can possibly be the yes man or woman. It's just, I don't know. It's, I guess what's what I've learned. And empathy, yeah, I think that everybody's products need to be out there if they've got passion about it. Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Edgar. Michael, you're up.
So Melanie, thanks so much for sharing your journey. It's really incredible hearing what you got to say. So thank you.
Of course.
And my question, it's really cool to hear how you're developing products for other people and go through the prototype phase and things of that sort. And but it also sounds like you also help to license the product for other people as well. And I was just kind of thinking that that could really be challenging, because I would think some people, have it set in stone that they want 10% and it's your job to go get that, or they have other considerations in their head. And I know, well, not that I've been through negotiations yet, but I would imagine that they kind of go in many different directions. So how do you kind of manage that whole process of licensing for other people? It seems kind of touch and go quite a bit.
Well, first of all, really before any contract, I get into a contract with somebody, I do my own research. If I don't know anything about the product or the field that it's going to, um, I have to figure out, just like everybody should, about their own product, right? Before they develop it, who's the competition, and it goes back to the why. Why did you want this manufactured to begin with? Why did you have it manufactured? Why do you feel like it needs to be on the market? Because usually they've got the way more knowledge about it. It's a great place to start. And but then I do my own. And if I feel like there is a place for that product, um, I've got a urology product that I've been flown, the person's flown me around to go and pitch this. And I've been to a lot of the big companies. We're really close right now. We've reeled back because we're making it 2 different iterations for alternate parts of tubing. So it's just so we're pulling back because the one company is really interested. But before we pitch it to anybody else, I want to have these in place because it was brought to our attention. You right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just, if I feel like if I can find that there is a market for it, that there is a need, then I'll take it on. If I feel like if the person's reasonable on, because well, I'll do the financial analysis also of it. Who's the market? Where will it be sold? How much can it be manufactured for? About estimate. How much is it going to be sold for? Is it a coded product in the medical field? Is it direct to consumer through Amazon or whatever? And if it's say you take 400,000 people, times it by this, and it's just the charting of it. Where is the market? And again, but it goes back to what Wesley said. Talking to them first and hearing just talking about the gap in the market, right? The pitch decks aren't the first page or two. It's where's the problem? Where's the gap? How am I going to fix it? Right? So it's that trickle effect. It's the same way you approach the companies. It's not, hey, I've got this product. it's going to go great in your product line. Yeah, that doesn't work so good.
Mm.
They know their product line. Don't tell
Mhm.
them that it's going to work in their product line. They don't like that. It's say it may, I think that you may be a good fit, or it could accompany some of your current products, um, because of this and this. What do
Mhm.
you think? Put it in their hands to give you the
Yeah.
answers almost.
Gotcha. Yeah, great points. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. I have a couple just quick questions. I think they might be quick, and then we can start wrapping up, Melanie. With your consulting and your advising, do you feel more excited or comfortable doing licensing deals versus bringing it to market? Is there one that you like lean towards more? Or are you open for either? You're happy to take on any projects, whether it's, from ground up, starting from scratch, or, I need a couple tweaks on this and then I want to get a licensing deal.
If people come to me and say they want me to do the prototyping and then pitch it for a licensing deal, that, like, I've done it where I don't make any money, right? At that point, it's like, okay, well, I really made nothing. Because just the time. So
Yep.
I steer away from that. Yes, I will definitely do the prototypes, and I will help them find, if they want to pay me for the prototypes and pay me for some hours,
Yeah.
I will absolutely take on anything. But I have found where it's, it can be, it can,
Got it.
bleed in there easily. So yeah.
And then with the clients that you do the prototypes for, I think I read in one of the notes that you gave me that you prefer that they have a patent. Did I understand that correct? Or are you open to any phase? Is it that if they have a patent, you don't have to worry about redoing the project 7 times as they change their mind because it's already maybe kind of in stone and they can't be, having radical new ideas about it? Or how does that
Well,
look for you?
I don't know. I don't know that I if I wrote that, it's not quite what I meant, probably.
Okay. Okay.
No, I would say the prototypes need to happen first, and then, because you're not gonna, and I've seen it plenty of times. You have a patented product, but it needs, like, that really doesn't work all that good.
Yeah.
So the testing has to be done before it isn't even a viable product, or you can go and spend $6,000 to $10,000 on a patent because it's an idea, and it's not going to work that way. It'll work similar, but then you have to amend, and it's like, so no. I mean, if they want to patent it in that process of after the testing, that's a great time. If they want to do the concept, start part of it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and get it close, the provisional. But no, I would not jump ahead of testing.
Okay. Yep. That makes a lot more sense. And what about, like, what else do you look for before you decide to partner with somebody?
I like the
Sure.
niche. Okay. Like, yeah, if people ask me to, hey, do you want to go in on a product with me? Like right now, like the few that I've said yes to, they're funding they're funding it for the most part. I'm doing all the work.
Okay.
So I'm going to put my time in,
Okay.
but I'm not paying for the samples or the manufacturer, like the first round. From then it becomes more, but then I do a lot of the business side of it. And now I'm getting my son involved for, like, the, the Shopify's and helping with, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Again, it's definitely, it really, really depends. I was just asked if I wanted to partner with somebody on something, and I was like, let me do some research.
Okay.
And I'm like, to me, it doesn't, I don't get it. I don't get that one. I don't understand
Okay.
that product. I can't find a need. So, obviously I'm not going to get into that, but I'll be happy to guide it in any way, I
Mhm.
can for that situation. But yeah.
Do you typically also do, I know you're able to do, but do you typically also handle the visual marketing, the sell sheet and video and anything else too?
So I'll do the sell sheets and the pitch decks with no
Okay.
problem. No, like the really good like digital renderings,
Mhm.
or like the
Sizzle
the
reel or
yeah. No, I found somebody I just started working with, and
okay.
she seems to be really good. So
Okay.
I haven't completed that yet with her, but usually it's the companies that take over and they do, I just hand off the products. Like next week, I've got a whole product development team coming here. This will be the second time from a company that they're coming here, and
Oh
we're going
wow.
to finish up this product. We're going to just try and finalize details on it, and then they'll take it from there, and I'm done. So then they do the marketing, they do all that. Um, yeah.
Are there any categories you typically will stay away from? Maybe like food or shoes or any, things that are just kind of not in your wheelhouse or not super comfortable
Um,
with or
yeah, I mean, so like food in general, I get packaging. I really can see the packaging and some cool ways to do packaging and all that. Um, but no, like the contents that's in there, I actually had a snack company at one time that I
oh
started
no.
from. But I was like the first like chickpea, big chickpea
No way.
company. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so yeah, I don't know. I had a small company that was selling them, and I didn't have the health clearance, and I was gonna have to put in a whole other, wing on my house. And
Oh, gee.
um, I had little kids, and I couldn't go and work at, out of kitchens, that were established. So I
Yeah.
just let it go. But yeah, so I have done that. I do have a nutrition um, license.
Mm-hmm.
No. So food, we'll say food. No,
Food and everything else you're open to. And
I
then
probably.
what about working within the FDA guidelines? Can you just talk about that for a moment? How challenging or maybe not so challenging and it's just intimidating, but relatively manageable those
Yeah, I
guidelines
think people are
are?
scared of it. I think people are scared of the FDA
Yeah.
part of it. Honestly, so in China or around, well, China, Taiwan, that I know of, Korea, they have the FDA factories, right? So you have to make
Okay.
sure that if you have a product that needs to be FDA class one,
Mm-hmm.
is right, just no testing. You don't, it doesn't need to be, it really doesn't need to have much of anything. You just have to make sure it's um, done in an FDA, manufactured in a facility that
Okay.
with FDA qualifications.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had my first company. I was FDA registered, so it's a registration, and each one basically has a barcode that just kind of goes along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's and it's money. It's money that you hand over.
Do you recall what sort of figures,
I
a
think it was
product like your brace would require, one of your
I think
hand
it was,
braces?
well, okay, so it's like for a company, you can put tons of products, tons of class one in your FDA registration.
I
So all it is it's like your trademark, your name, and then in that company, under that, you can have all your products as long as they are coded in a certain way. I'll say coded. I don't remember if it's um like if it's internal, then it has to be, it has to be
Mm-hmm.
tested. If it's there's certain
Okay.
things that then jump into class 2, 3, and 3.
Got it. Yeah.
But for class ones, no, they can fit in your product or in your company. that's registered.
Okay. How many classes are there?
3, and then there's there's different classes in those. So when you get I was just talking to my dad about this. He had like almost all the registered products in like one class at one time.
Wow. Okay.
It was like 3-156. I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are that type of products.
Okay. Okay, so I think we're at about 9:30 now, so we've taken up quite a bit of your time, Melanie. Does anybody else have any final questions before we wrap up? I see John has just joined us on camera. Hello there, making his appearance of the night. He likes to pop in for a moment or two, share his pretty face, and then we lose him again. Oh, Michael, another one from Michael before we head off for tonight. Oh no, you were faking?
Yeah.
Or no, you're good.
No. Yeah, so just a little more about the FDA, right? Yeah. So I'm assuming that there's FDA requirements from manufacturing perspective, right? But also I assume there's requirements from a product design perspective, right? If this is like a new use and this and that, I would think that there's a lot of that type of rigmarole you need to go through. Yes, no, maybe?
I only know FDA in orthopedics, or I should say in the medical field. So no, it really does come down to, you pay the $6,000. You have to say what you want for or like what your product is. Send in a picture. It has to have a picture with it, from what I remember, and you say like it links into numbers from there. It's like, okay, so it's a knee brace, right? It's a knee brace without hinges, without this, so it's in this class, and all that is, so you pay basically the $6,000 to be a registered FDA company.
Okay.
So from there, like the DME companies, the companies that you sell to, like if I wanted somebody else to distribute my products, some of them absolutely said you have to be a registered, FDA registered company, or I can't sell your products. So all you do is you give them your number, your FDA registry number. And that, yes, a picture saying, yes, this product is. Now, yeah, so the factories, either they are or they are not FDA registered. They've already done that work. So you can seek those out if that's what you need. And say, yes, it was produced, and they will give you it comes with verification, quality verification document.
Gotcha. Well, thanks. But also, like, if you call the FDA, are they as helpful as, like, say, the USPTO? Do you know? Or
I don't remember that. I don't know. I mean, I am one to get on the phone with anybody when I don't have the answers. If I can't find them easily enough, I just call. So I probably did. I don't remember.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
There's actually advisors. I talked to a local company, ex-FDA people, who started a consulting firm. So you can call them, you should get a free hour. But then if you need to have somebody, they know the inside workings of the FDA, so they can guide the process. But it sounds like you have a much more direct approach, which I like. So just let the factory deal with it.
Well, that, right. But I mean, it depends on who are you selling your product to. If you're just, if you are going to be the manufacturer of it and it needs to have that clearance because of who you're selling it to needs that, then when you need to you have to have, your company needs to be registered with it. If it's, if you're just going to be selling on Amazon and stuff like that, you don't usually need, or in certain categories, you don't need an FDA registry, for sure.
So if the company is certified, FDA compliant, whatever, does that mean that they will look at when they make your product for you, do they vet it? I mean, they have to have some sense of whether it would pass muster with FDA. So would they say, you know what, this is not acceptable if it's not right?
Well,
Uh,
but class ones, FDA does not do any testing with. They don't need to see the physical product. They don't need to ever have it in hand, unless that's changed in the last 3 years. I don't think so, but that was kind of last time I've worked on products, that needed to, well, that where I was a part of that, for a company I worked for. But other than that, no, I don't know. I don't think that's a problem.
So you just register it. The company makes it. They don't give you any feedback as to whether it might be unacceptable or dangerous, or something. And it's just because, I mean, how does somewhere there's got to be some.
Well, what about like the John? What about like the class 2 or 3? Is there some sort of like, would the factory evaluate for safety before committing, or is that another agency that steps in, or do you?
That already, yeah. I mean, their testing has to be done. If you're going to register for a class 2 or 3,
Yeah.
there's testing that has to be done. And so the FDA has to approve that product, not just your company, but that product is approved.
So you would have it manufactured by the FDA approved company, and then a separate evaluation process through the FDA before you go ahead and move forward with the full order of the product.
I mean, I guess
Okay.
Again, class 1s, the FDA does not, you don't have to have testing.
Yeah.
So, but some companies that you sell to, they have to show, because of like the sanitary reasons, that it was done in an FDA approved facility. And so but I'm sure there's way more about it that I don't have those answers to, but that's where my knowledge is with it.
Okay. Thanks, John. Elise, welcome to the call.
Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks for having it.
Course.
Melanie, I want to say thank you. This has been very informative. I think it's a blessing that you're on the planet as well, the blessing for your son. I wanted to ask you, are you going to leave any type of contact information with Jennifer so that, I don't know if you're consulting with people or you're open to consulting, but just in case we feel like we have not only hit walls, but the walls are burying us and our heads are swimming, would you be open to consulting or having a conversation?
Absolutely. Yep. I do it all the time. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at least we'll make sure that you have Melanie's LinkedIn information. I'll make sure you get that. I have your email, so I'll make sure we get it directly to you. And I'm sure Melanie would be happy to share her phone number as well, if that's easier.
Yeah, of course. Either way.
Okay, thank you. And thanks, Jennifer. You're a hero, and so are you, Melanie.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
So are you, Elise.
Thanks.
We appreciate you. Okay, so we'll get everyone I did put your LinkedIn in the chat, but it's also on the invite, and anyone else, feel free. Melanie's great to communicate with, very quick to respond. So I would encourage you guys to just reach out via LinkedIn. Is that the easiest? I guess you don't want to give out your number over the.
I did. I just put it in there. Yeah. No, probably a text to start with. Yeah, or a phone call. For sure.
There's the number in the chat. So again, Elise, I'll make sure that you get that because you're driving tonight. So all right, is that it? Have we covered everything for this first round? At least we all know there's a lot more that we could dig into. But Melanie, is there anything more that you can think of that we maybe missed that you'd like to share, or anything that we should keep an eye out on, your upcoming products about to launch, or?
Well,
your boat company. We haven't even gotten into that yet.
That's a whole separate thing.
That's the Innovators After Hours call.
Yeah, that's after hours. The one thing that I would really like to get across is that just make sure you have a sellable product. Don't, you may be so passionate about your product, you may love it, you may go and patent it and everything, but at any stage, just because you love it and everything else, like there are those cutoffs. Make sure you have customers. Make sure it falls in that range.
How would you suggest people do that? What are some of the techniques we can use to vet interest?
Well, first of all, start with why did you make it? Okay, so from there, then you branch out. Probably because you haven't seen anything like it, right? So then, but is anybody ever going to search for it? Does it need does it need a lot of education? Like it was Wesley, he's like, yeah, I've got a product, it needs education. And that's a whole separate thing, which is a beautiful thing. And it definitely don't stop because you don't find the search engines, right, the search optimization. It just could be that there are but nobody's looking for it because there isn't anything. But then how are you going to, what is your approach to expanding people's minds and seeing this product? Are you going to license it to a company that is going to, in that same realm, that's going to take it and do all that? That's a great way to do it if it's a brand new product. But how long will it take? How many, if you're going to sell it, what's the retail price? What's the landed cost? Where's that range? Are you in the above 30% range? If you're not above 30%, those margins go down to 5 to 0 to negative so fast with you do one extra ad or you do this or you do that. You have to make sure that you are well above, 30% or more on any product to start with. And then who's your competition? How many already have 10 stars with the same search words that you're going to use? If there's already like 10 products that or the first page is filled with 4 and 5 star products, you're going to spend a lot on ads. So just make sure that you don't waste your money or your time, because I bet more thoughts are going to come into your head, more inventions are going to come into each of your heads, where maybe that's the one, that is that niche market, or maybe not even niche, but just it's got that sweet spot that it's profitable. You can't do these if they're not profitable. And patent searches, are you infringing? Is it a new idea? Make sure you're not infringing, and make sure there's not prior art, because it's just things like that. And then if you can't get past those things, then stop. That's probably.
At least, did you have another question? Your hand's up. Is that okay? With the shipping cost, do you have any idea what the going rate would be for, say, a pallet, just a single pallet? And obviously, I guess weight's going to play a factor into that. But what can people expect to have to tack on to their cost of goods when it's a product that's coming from overseas?
Man, where's my son right now? Because he just got a shipment in. One, air freight and faster, but for the samples, yes, but otherwise it needs to come by container probably. Can you join another company's container? So if you can link it into somebody else's container, your pallets that has room, that's a big cost savings. So there's ways to kind of go about balancing that. But I mean, from what I remember, like 4 pallets, not heavy, were probably about 400. And this was a few years ago. Prices have definitely jumped. From there, I haven't had to deal with that until well, I'll deal with it probably in like 2 weeks. I'll
Okay.
probably, well, maybe not a pallet yet, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be getting, starting that process for 2 products. So it's just, I don't know yet. But I'll join into somebody's container,
Okay.
that's local here.
That's the first time I've heard somebody mention that technique or that sort of approach. So that'll be interesting. You'll have to update us one of our follow-up sessions and let us know how it turned out for you.
And you can always ask the factory that you're shipping in. Are you already shipping for other people? Can you, and it's just, again, it's that kind of that networking, and just reaching out.
One last question. We often talk a lot about building relationships, and I'm wondering if you've found the relationships to be vital, or have you had luck just, doing cold calls and having very minimal connections with folks and just getting things done that way?
Both.
Yeah.
Both.
That's the thing. You're right. How many times do we talk about this? More than one way from A to Z when it comes to licensing or bringing products to market. So,
I think it kind of goes back to who are you talking to? How busy are they? And almost figuring out their personality a little bit. Are they expansive in their introduction about me on LinkedIn or on their website? Is it very minimal? Is it, so you can kind of, unless somebody else wrote it for them, but if not, then you can kind of get to know their personality a little bit right there.
Yep.
And then how they answer you in a message.
Yep.
And then just stay on that path.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I suppose it definitely doesn't hurt to have strong relationships.
Never.
You never know where you're gonna, be able to connect again in a future product or a future business dealing of some sort. So,
don't ever break bridges.
Yeah, but don't let it stop you as well. If it's not,
right.
We have a lot of shyer folks that are part of the community and introverted folks. So it's not everything, the stress on building strong relationships. It's not necessarily everything. So
no.
you have a product that does all the talking for you. You might not need to say more than 2 words to the person at the end of the day. So, okay, I think we should wrap it up. We're a quarter of the hour now, Melanie.
Well, thank you.
What a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for taking the time. Again, we will be wrangling you back to hear all about your boat company, and that might be like a random show session, but you can't leave us hanging. So for now, though, we appreciate all the information that you shared and learning so much about your expansive professional history. We wish you all of the best moving forward and just can't wait to see what else you come up with. And it would be wrong to not congratulate you for all of your accomplishments already and all of the help and support you have given to people both in the physical therapy space and in the product development space, to mimic or jump on what Elise said there. You're doing incredible work. You are a Shiro, and we're just honored to have you as a member of our community. So again, thank you so much.
Well, it's because of you, Jennifer, and I so appreciate what you do here and having me on and getting to know some of these amazing people. So thank you all. Appreciate it. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Melanie. All right, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
You know how to reach Melanie now.
John will have to catch up.
Yeah.
We will.
Yeah. Okay. John is working with Melanie a bit there. So we'll be seeing good things from many of us moving forward. For those of you that missed it, I did reschedule our session for next week to the 9 p.m. time frame. However, Michelle was kind enough to remind me that InventRight does their coaching call at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I still might have it at that time. I'm not quite sure. keep an eye out for the event update. So again, next week, InventRight has a co-founders call. Many of the community members are part of that community as well. So in order to not overlap and force you to choose between InventRight and the Innovators Roundtable, I was going to push the call to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, however, now that there is the late night office hours for InventRight, maybe I'll switch it to a different day entirely. Could we get a quick raise of hand, I guess? Would you rather it be a Wednesday night? Or are you guys great for a 9 p.m. Eastern on next Thursday? Any sort of feedback would be helpful. I saw some head raise, some yes. Should we just keep the 9 p.m.? We'll stay on Thursday. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, guys. Okay. Oh, and Keith has a hand up. Oh, and Eric is joining us too. We'll go Keith and then Eric. Thanks, Eric. Keith?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think just keeping next Thursday at 9 is great.
Okay.
The coaching calls are, they're daily really. So
That's
if
true.
anybody missed out on one, they can catch that another time.
That's true.
I also want to just say to Daniela, boa tarde, boa noite,
Oh,
and welcome.
Boa noite.
Bem-vindo.
one of these days, and maybe for the upcoming year anniversary of the community, we'll do a hidden talents session, and we can share. Keith not only is multilingual, but he makes a mean holiday themed pie, so we can see what else you guys are getting up to in your free time. But thank you for the feedback, Keith, and thank you for your welcoming for Daniela. Okay, is that it? Have we covered everything? Now we have a 9 works. Thank you guys. Thanks. Just checking. Thank you, Elise. Thank you all for the kind notes in the chat. We missed last week. I'm missing you guys. We appreciate hearing from you, Wesley, and getting your feedback. I cannot wait to hear about how everybody else is doing. It's been a couple weeks. We're sitting and on bated breath here, waiting to hear some of your hopefully interesting and positive updates over the last few weeks. So fingers crossed, and we'll go ahead and we'll stick to that 9 p.m. time. As always, if you have any feedback, any requests for guests, any ideas for different formats or forums, please let me know. You have Melanie's contact info for LinkedIn. If you want to shed some goodwill over to her or any of your other community members, it's a great thing to do. Just hit their LinkedIn endorsements or their recommendations. Takes a few seconds, and it really lifts up the whole community when you do that. So I think that's it, everybody. I'm probably forgetting something, but yeah, September's around the corner, you guys. And thank you all for being a part of this group. We will see you next week again for the incredible coffee and catch up sessions. All right, guys. So Eric, did you have something? I forgot. Eric had his hand up. You just added a 9 p.m. is good to the chat. Was there anything else you wanted to share, Eric? We'll give you a second here to pop back on, put you in the put you under the spotlight. Going. All right, guys.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you next
Thanks,
week.
Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thanks, Elise. Take good care.
Good night,
Get safe.
everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.